So systems is pretty obvious, right? We want to get an efficient business. How do we do that? Well, we systematize the business. Let's talk a little bit about how we do that. But what we want to have in place for you is a business that's run by system, by people. And what prospective buyers are looking for is that they're looking to see, what is that system? You know, how much is it followed? Is it consistently followed? Is it robust? Is it kind of the backbone of the business? And if it is, that's going to greater value than if you have a business that's kind of people dependent. With people dependent businesses comes a lot of variation and in delivery. So we have a very structured approach within approaching this within Action Coach. We have what we call our 9 ways to systematizing the business. Now, I've called out these first 4: vision, statement, purpose, culture, and we're going to look at those first. And the reason for that is back to the foundational level, at the destination mastery level, we work on these. So when we exit foundations and we've eliminated the chaos, we also have these first 4 items ready to place into what I would say is like a systems manual. So imagine what we're going to build up now is your systems manual, your operation manual for how everybody operates in this business. Prospective buyer comes in and you present them with your operations manual, your systems manual. Imagine how much more impressed they're going to be with this in place versus with you having to verbally explain what all these things are. You know, more potentially. So we're going to come on to the other 9 ways in a second, but let me first of all visually explain these first 4. So what we're going to do in defining these is we're going to get very clear about your journey. So we're clear about your destination, or that exit point. Now let's paint your journey for, say, this 5-year time frame. Let's get clear about what that vision is for the business in 5 years' time. When you get to that 5-year stage and you maybe the beginning of looking to sell it, we're going to move that vision on. We're going to look at that vision again and set the vision for the next 5 years, so that when that owner comes in, they're looking at what's your vision for kind of 5 years hence. But right now, we'll set the vision for the next 5 years. We're very clear about where we're headed. And this is great for your own motivation and inspiration, but it's also fundamental for that of bringing people into the team and getting them engaged, getting them on board in the first place, and then keeping them inspired. We're going to be clear about what your purpose is. You know, why does your business really exist? Why would the world miss you if it get that defined? Well, you might have heard getting your why defined as well. It can act as a really good performance enhancing drug, because the more we're clear about why we're doing this, the more we're going to be able to go in the challenges, and we're more likely to continue rather than. And the same is true for you, and the same is true for your team as well. So we define your purpose, which, by the way, really doesn't change over time. Vision will, but we're going to be clear about what your vision for the next 5 years is. We've got really good, clearly written 5-year goals for business. We've got 12-month goals. And in Action Coach, we work on a 90-day planning cycle. So we're going to, every quarter, put in place goals and activities to achieve those goals, because then we've got confidence if we hit these goals for the next 13 weeks, we're going to be on track to achieve the goals for the next 12 months. We're going to be able to achieve that next turn road that we represent here. And then when we get to that turn in 12 months' time, we'll be able to plan the next 12 months and see the next of our journey. Something that's really fundamental. A lot of people pay lip service to it, saying, yes, we've got our value points defined. But what I want for my clients, and they all do this, is they invest time in really detailing their culture. You know, what are their values? What are your values? What do you value? What violates you as a person? Because what we want is you finding people, bring them into the business, them knowing what your culture and values are, which effectively is how you want them to behave as you travel this journey to your destination and your vision. We want them to be brought on board, being crystal clear right from day one. You join me in my business, this is how we behave. Come and join us. If you're this, you're not. And then once you've got this defined, then you're able to use this as your kind of set of rules. We'll talk about team performance as well. We get all this clear and we get it all stated in our operations, our systems manual. Then that allows us to then move on and finish the remaining elements. Now, we've already begun today creating an organization chart. So what we've got to do is keep developing that. And as we, more roles and more people, we kind of update the organizational chart. But the good thing about having this in your operations manual, as soon as somebody joins the organization, they're very clear about how it's structured. We're going to put in there your job description. So every role on that job, on that organization chart, will be clear about the roles and responsibilities. Now, again, imagine you're a prospective buyer in 5 years' time and you present them with all of this. You've got that clear way ahead. They can really see how things are organized, who's responsible for what the skill sets are. And then to finish this off, we're going to get that dashboard of your key performance indicators, your financial indicators, your 5 ways, and the other things that are specific for you and for your business as well. We'll get them actually defined in the operations manual. And we'll be able to prove that you're living them as well, because your dashboard real time. It's literally like driving a vehicle and seeing that dashboard. We want you to have your dashboard in control of management performance. And over time, we want you to develop your what we call how-to systems, those practical systems that will show everybody how everything is done. Now that could be statements of process and procedure and system, videos, it could be audio, it could be a complete mixture. What we want is every aspect of your business to be defined in a single place. Anybody coming into the organization and understand how they're to perform their duties. With this, also your management systems also systematized and in your systems operations manual, then everybody will be able, anybody new coming into the business, you'll be able to get them up to speed much more. So before we talked about time chaos, how productive are you and your team? Imagine having this in place, how much easier this is going to make your life in the short term, regardless of it being a fantastic document for you to present to buyers. So hopefully this gives you an insight into how we can just divide what might seem quite a complex topic, systemizing the business, really concrete, manageable, incremental steps. And then lastly on team, so we work in Action Coach to these 7 keys to a winning team. Some of them may look obvious, but if you at this stage, again, starting point doesn't matter, it's where we finish. If you feel you haven't really had the opportunity to develop leadership skills, well, that's skills and that can be learned. We can train you and show you how to become, a very good, strong leader in your business. The common goal and rules of the game, we've already got those defined, right? We've got those goals set. Everybody knows where we're headed over 5 years, over the next 12 months, over the next 90 days. We've got the rules of the game in our culture points as well. So everybody knows what's expected of them, how to behave. What we can do is take those 90-day plans and really start to produce the action plans for the team. So I talked about having 13 weeks in a typical calendar quarter. Well, let's have an action plan for each week. Delegation, we can support, get you comfortable, so making, really practicing good delegation. If you've got an inclusive environment for your team, one that's really working together, all going in the same direction, this is what this is all about, is getting a single team, all pointed in the direction of your journey and all loving going on that journey with you. And then coming back to the systems, we want to keep those up to date. So we've got to adopt with learning culture. Do that, every time, for example, it didn't happen. No business doesn't customer complaints, but let's take those on positively and say, okay, where did our system break down for this? Let's go and fix the gap, fix the hole, continually learn from that, and let's then, apply those lessons so that we don't make those mistakes in the future. And as a result of it, our how-to systems, our management systems, so something coming back to the theme of today, of having a business that works without you, making yourself dispensable. The opposite of that, of course, with a lot of business owners, is their business revolves around them. Our definition of team is together everybody achieves more, right? Got all of these keys to a winning team happening. Of course, you're going to be in a very strong position to have a team that achieves more together. The opposite, again, is true if you are the business revolves around you. How many businesses have you seen where effectively the team is there just to accommodate me as the business owner? So I, of course, want for you the former of those and certainly not the latter of those definitions. Right, let's get back to how do we value our business? So we're going to go back to the numbers that we had earlier. We're growing from 2 million to 13.5 million. What we've done now is we've removed those gross profit figures, put on here an assumption that this business is achieving 10% of its revenue currently as net profit. So after all of its costs are considered, it is making 10% net. Right now, this business is making £200,000 net profit. What we're going to do is, the 5 ways of growing by 10%, we're also simplistically going to assume that the net profit is going to grow by 10% year on year as well. So by year 5, we're going to grow the net profit margin 15.1% as well. So we've got our net profit growing, and obviously the amount of profit as well. So what we've got going on here, if we start to then apply multiples and look at that equation of the times multiples equals the value of the business. So let's be generous to this business here, and let's say, okay, its industry, it could potentially achieve multiples of 7. And right now, we're going to be generous, and we're going to give it 2. We're going to be mean and say it's not worth anything, and we're not just going to do it more. So if we do that multiplication, very easy to do, profit of 200 multiplied by 2, this business is currently valued at £400,000. So it's not unreasonable to say that that due diligence process right now, if you were to do it, would start with that figure in mind. Let's move forward. Let's then think about what we're doing by putting the foundations in place. So imagine in year 1, this is typically what we do with our clients. Year 1, it's about the foundations, moving into the sales and marketing. Now we've eliminated the chaos. So now it's not unreasonable to say the multiples increased. Now we should be able to command 3 multiples. In year 2, we put more and more focus on sales and marketing efforts, growing those 5 ways. We're able to demonstrate that progress. So it's not unreasonable to say that our multiples now move to 4. Then in year 3, we keep that going, continue up to improving our sales and marketing. But now we're able to put more and more focus on those how-to systems, on those management systems, and really embedding that kind of systems culture within more people in as well, more of those senior positions. So if we do that, particularly year 3 going into year 4, it's not unreasonable to think that already now our business is worth, 5 and 6 multiples of that profit. And then in year, continually we're putting that team in place, but it really comes together in years 4 and in years 5. So then it's not unreasonable to say, okay, this business in its industry that could achieve 7 multiples is able to really think that it can go and actually buyers that will give them 7 times multiples. What that means for this business here, that we've grown it from a valuation of £400,000 in 2023 to, by the end of 2027, being able to really confidently go to buyers and start a due diligence process with them and be able to expect that you come out to that due diligence valuation of 15.2 million. And that's purely because it's the multiple of 7 times a much larger by 2 million. Now, if you are a smaller business, by the way, if you were to change that average sale value to £100 rather than 1,000, that would represent a £200,000 business growing to 1.3 million. So, all we do is kind of divide by 10, sense of how this could apply to you if you're running a smaller business right now. Also, if you're in an industry where your multiples are, say, 3 or 4, they're not as high as 7, it might not seem exciting, but again, if you think about, well, today it might be worth 0 to 1 or 1 multiple, maybe rather than going up a whole multiple each year, we're going to go up half a multiple. But again, it's better to have 3 or 4 multiples growing pie of profit it is to sell the business right now with that kind of multiple of perhaps lower, say, half or 1. So hopefully that's really brought to life for you how you can practically go about building your profit predictably using 5 ways, and also how it relates to growing the multiple, growing the value of your business. And hopefully, although it's been very summary level, I've given you a real sense of how you can build what you need to have in place, the sales and marketing systems and so I'd love to continue the conversation with you individually, because there's only so much I can cover in this time, in this 60 minutes we have available today. But what I do offer, and Vicky's going to make my Calendly link available in the chat box. We would love to see you in an introductory call where we could explore your business and we could explore what we've talked about in general terms. That's your business. What I do have is a coaching program for every size business. We have group coaching program schemes like Action Membership and Growth Club, and then we have one-to-one coaching as well. Action Coach, we have very strong year-on-year client advocacy scores. And stronger even than Apple, who are, have got one of the strongest reputations for having, a global strong advocacy score. And that 100% score is of my clients. So it's my clients assessed that they all believe 100% their investment and their coaching with me is worthwhile. And that's because I'm growing their value of their businesses for them. I'm making those month improvements, but fundamentally on a journey with them, grow the value of their business. So I'd love to see you in a one-to-one. All we need to do is take 30 to 60 minutes, typically on Zoom, and we can start to pull this together. Then after that, if you would like to go into more detail with me, then I offer a free business diagnostic session where we'll go through 6-step scoring for your business. I'll also develop your 5 ways so that you've got that grid of figures that you saw there in our fictitious example, have that developed for your business, and we'll be able to explore your starting is and how we can grow the multiple, grow the profits. I've got an email address there as well, and also we'll look to follow up with you. I hope you found that helpful today. I'll just check in with Vicky if there are any I need to answer before we go. If not, I'll give you about 8 minutes of your time back, and thank you for your attention today. And genuinely, I do look forward to seeing you in the future and look forward to supporting you to work through the details in a much more constructive way for you, much helpful way. Thank you for today. Have a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.